There is a silent force that shapes destinies. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not where you were born or what hand you were dealt. It's attitude, not the one you wear on your face, but the one you carry in your soul, the one that whispers to you when no one's watching, the one that decides whether you rise or whether you fall. Your attitude is your internal compass. It doesn't just point you north, it pulls you there. You see, there are people with half your resources, half your advantages, half your education, doing twice as much, going twice as far. Why? Because they've mastered what most ignore, the power of how they show up. You want to change your life? Don't start with your job. Don't start with your environment. Start with your philosophy. Start with the way you see yourself, the way you see the world. Because your attitude is not just a reflection of your circumstances, it's the author of them. Abraham Lincoln said, "Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." Lincoln, who led a divided nation, buried 2 sons, and battled lifelong depression, knew something about struggle. But more importantly, he knew the secret to overcoming it. Choose your attitude before life chooses it for you. And that's the great crossroads we all stand at every morning. The choice, the decision. To meet the world with optimism or with defeat. To rise with courage or sink with excuses. To lead with strength or bow with complaint. Your attitude is the filter through which you experience everything. It can turn obstacles into opportunities or opportunities into regrets. It can turn a rainy day into a reason to grow or an excuse to wither. There was a man named Thomas Edison, you know the name. He tried over 10,000 times to create a working light bulb. Most would have quit after 10, but not Edison. When asked about those failures, you know what he said? "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not talent. That's not genius. That's attitude. It's the mindset that says, I will not be defined by what doesn't work. I will be defined by what I choose to become. Listen, life will throw storms at you. Winds will blow. Waves will crash. You can't control that, but you can control the sail. You can hold the wheel. You can chart the course. Attitude is that wheel. And the truth is, you are where you are right now, not just because of what you've done, but because of how you've responded to what life has done to you. People with the right attitude don't avoid failure. They outgrow it. They don't escape pain. They extract meaning from it. They don't wait for motivation. They generate it. It's like Carnegie, the great steel magnate who built an empire from nothing. He understood something that most miss. Wealth starts in the mind. He didn't just build bridges and railroads. He built belief. And belief starts with how you think about yourself and the world around you. You want to lead? Start with your posture. You want to succeed? Start with your words. You want to win? Start with your attitude. Because you could put the same man in 2 different situations, give him the same tools, same hours, same pay, but one thrives while the other crumbles. The difference isn't the job, it's the person doing it. The right attitude turns labor into legacy. The right attitude turns stress into strategy. The right attitude turns routine into ritual. And when you shift your internal world, your external world begins to obey. You stop reacting and start directing, and you stop doubting and start designing. Because life will always respond to the energy you give it. There's a law in nature. The seed responds to the sower. You don't get roses from neglect. You don't get oak trees from doubt. You get it from belief, from effort, from watering your attitude with discipline and purpose. Jim Rohn said it best. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. That's the mindset of a warrior. That's the philosophy of the few who understand. Life doesn't bend for the bitter, it rises for the brave. So how do you build this kind of attitude? You start by taking responsibility. That word, responsibility, is the foundation of freedom. Not blame, not guilt. Responsibility. Own your choices, own your mindset, own the direction of your life, even when it hurts, even when it's not fair. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to fix it, that's the moment you become dangerous. That's the moment your power returns. That's the moment you stop being a victim and start becoming the architect of your destiny. Responsibility is the soil in which strong attitudes grow. And if you're waiting for everything to line up before you change how you feel, then you've already lost. Because the world doesn't give you permission to be great, you give it to yourself. And here's the beauty. Once you fix your attitude, everything else begins to shift. Relationships improve, not because they change, but because you do. Opportunities appear, not because the world suddenly opens, but because your eyes finally do. Energy increases, not because life gets easier, but because you stop draining yourself with resistance. There's power in this, unshakable, undeniable, life-altering power, and it doesn't come from how others treat you. It comes from how you decide to carry yourself. You ever see someone walk into a room and the energy shifts? They don't have to say a word. They don't have to wear designer clothes or flash their resume. Their presence commands attention. Why? It's not ego. It's not arrogance. It's certainty. They've cultivated something rare, an attitude that's been earned through battle, through discipline, through self-respect, through rising one more time than they fell. They walk with intention. They speak with purpose. Because they've decided who they are, and the world simply follows suit. Let me ask you something. What's the tone of your thoughts when no one's around? What do you say to yourself in the silence? Because that inner voice, it's your script. And if you feed it fear, you'll perform a tragedy. But if you feed it strength, watch how the world becomes your stage. Your attitude is the thermostat of your life. Not a thermometer that reacts to conditions, but a thermostat that sets the temperature. You decide the heat. You decide the drive. You decide the vibration you operate at. And if you operate with faith, vision, and conviction, then even when storms come, they'll find you unshaken. Not because the winds don't blow, but because you've anchored yourself. Let's talk about the greatest illusion in modern life, that your circumstances define your future, that if things don't change around you, you can't change within you. But look at Helen Keller, deaf, blind, mute. By all logic, her life should have been a sentence of silence. But she didn't let her conditions write her conclusion. She chose to believe that her mind was bigger than her limitations. And she was right. You've got that same power. You can either walk through life collecting reasons why you can't, or build a mindset that refuses to accept limits. You can either curse the rain or learn to dance in it. You can either resent the mountain or become the climber. But here's the truth you must face. Your life moves in the direction of your dominant attitude. And if your dominant attitude is frustration, then you will attract more reasons to be frustrated. If your dominant attitude is gratitude, then you will see miracles where others see nothing at all. There's a reason some people turn every setback into a setup. They're not lucky, they're aligned. They've trained their mind to ask, what is this here to teach me? Not, why is this happening to me? But what can I create from this? That's how greatness is born. Not from comfort, but from perspective. Not from ease, but from attitude. Think about a diamond, it's just carbon under pressure. But it's not the pressure that makes it valuable, it's how it responds to that pressure. You're no different. Life will test you. Life will crush you if you let it. But if you show up with the right internal dialogue, if you say to the mountain, you won't break me, you'll build me, then the pressure becomes the process. The fire becomes the forge. And what comes out the other side is not just strong, it's unbreakable. Now let's talk about clarity. Because attitude isn't just about being positive. It's about being clear. Clarity gives attitude its direction. Clarity gives your fire a target. A great attitude without a great vision is like a race car with no destination. It's powerful, but wasted. When you get clear on what you want, who you want to be, what legacy you want to leave, then your attitude isn't just reactive, it becomes strategic. Every morning becomes meaningful. Every step becomes sacred. You stop waking up just to get through the day, and you start waking up to build something. But clarity requires honesty. You've got to be willing to confront yourself, to peel back the layers of who you think you're supposed to be, and get to the truth of who you want to become. That takes courage. But it also gives you power. Because once you decide what matters, once you choose your North Star, then your attitude becomes your vehicle, and discipline becomes the engine. You think Steve Jobs built Apple just on intelligence? No. He built it on vision fueled by a relentless attitude, an obsession with simplicity, a refusal to settle. He got fired from his own company and came back stronger. Why? Because his attitude was bigger than his setbacks. And that's the difference between the average and the exceptional. The average let life tell them who they are. The exceptional decide who they are, and then they bend life to match it. And that's what I'm challenging you to do, to stop waiting, to stop reacting, to stop letting the world hand you your story, or write your own. Start with your attitude. It is the one thing no one can take from you. Not your past, not your mistakes, not your environment. The attitude you choose, it is yours. And when you make the decision to guard it, to sharpen it, to walk into every day like it's your stage, then you become dangerous. Then you become rare, then you become unshakable. So many people wake up each day already defeated. Not because the world beat them, but because they surrendered in their mind before they ever stepped out the door. That's the tragedy of modern life. We've been trained to expect too little of ourselves. Taught to play it safe, to lower our voice, to avoid risk and cling to comfort. But I'll tell you something. Comfort is not your friend. Comfort is the slow death of greatness. It whispers in your ear, stay here, it's good enough. But the truth is, no empire was ever built on good enough. No legacy was ever born from average. Your attitude has to declare war on mediocrity. You have to wake up and say, I refuse to be common. I refuse to be another name in the crowd. I refuse to go to my grave with my potential still locked inside of me. That fire, that defiance, that's what attitude is. It's not arrogance, it's not pride, it's conviction. It's the knowing that your life was meant for more and the discipline to demand it from yourself. Let me tell you about a man named Walt Disney. They laughed at him, said he lacked imagination. He was fired, bankrupt, rejected by hundreds of banks. But he had a vision, a mouse, a castle, a world. And more importantly, he had the attitude to keep going. He wasn't just creating cartoons, he was creating belief. And belief, backed by attitude, moves mountains. You've got to be like that. You've got to hold your dream so tightly in your spirit that no rejection can pry it loose. You've got to believe in your value when no one else sees it yet. And that belief, it must live in your attitude, in your posture, in your habits, in your voice. Because the world listens to how you carry yourself long before it listens to what you say. Want to know why most people never tap into their greatness? It's not their talent. It's not their lack of opportunity. It's that their attitude is built around doubt. You can't plant seeds of fear and grow a harvest of abundance. You can't feed your mind with worry and expect your future to bloom. You must guard your mind like a fortress. Only let in thoughts that serve your purpose. Only allow beliefs that elevate your mission. And this takes effort, and this takes awareness. You don't get a great attitude by accident, you craft it. Day by day, thought by thought, decision by decision. Because every moment of your life, you are either reinforcing strength or reinforcing weakness. There is no neutral. Discipline your attitude like a soldier sharpens his blade, and when life attacks, and it will, you'll be ready. Because storms don't destroy the prepared, they reveal them. And let me be clear, having a strong attitude doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear or doubt or frustration. It means those things don't own you anymore. It means that even on your worst day, you remember your purpose. It means you speak strength into your own soul when the world tries to break you down. That's emotional maturity. That's spiritual leadership. That's personal power. And in today's world, it is rare. Most people let their emotions lead. They react, complain, point fingers. They let the weather dictate their mood. They let the headlines decide their future. But not you, not anymore. You're going to lead yourself, no matter what's happening around you. Because leaders aren't just people in charge. Leaders are people who choose the high road even when it's steep. People who build when others quit. People who believe when others shrink. And that starts in your inner world, where attitude is born. Now let's talk about the role of gratitude. Because if you want to elevate your attitude, this is non-negotiable. Gratitude is not weakness. It's not denial. It's not pretending things are perfect. It's choosing to see the power you already have, so you can build from strength. It's training your mind to find the gold in every experience, even the painful ones. Because sometimes your setbacks are seeds. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the best thing that ever happened for you. But you won't see it unless your attitude is tuned to that frequency. Gratitude says, yes, I'm not where I want to be, but look how far I've come. It says, yes, there's work to do, but I get to do it. I'm alive. I'm able. I'm still standing. That kind of mindset changes everything. You stop resenting the process and start respecting it. You stop waiting to be blessed and realize you already are. And from that place of gratitude, of strength, of inner power, you create momentum. Because here's the truth. People with great attitudes attract great opportunities. Not because life is easier for them, but because they become magnetic. Their energy pulls people in. Their vision inspires. Their presence uplifts. That's the kind of person you're becoming. You don't wait for good days. You create them. You don't hope things change. You become the change. You don't chase success. You attract it by the person you're becoming every single day. And when things get hard, and they will, you lean in. You remember who you are. You remember what you're fighting for. And you choose to rise. Because attitude is not a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. It's a daily discipline. It's a conscious choice to be the cause in your life, not the effect. And when you start living like that, you become unstoppable. There will come a moment, not years from now, not decades away, but soon, when life will place you at a crossroads. It won't come with warning lights or trumpets. It won't announce itself. It'll arrive quietly, disguised as a disappointment, a rejection, a failure, a loss. And in that moment, you will face the ultimate question. Who am I when everything is on the line? What kind of attitude will I choose when nothing makes sense, when no one believes, when every reason to give up is right there in front of me? And that choice, that silent internal declaration, Will you rise with courage when it hurts? That's the measure of your power. Do you crumble or do you stand tall? That's what makes attitude everything. It's the compass when you're lost. With noise, but you can't let the noise dictate your direction. You are not a follower of chaos. Every great person you admire, every leader, every icon, every soul who ever changed history, they weren't born with magic. Abraham Lincoln was told he wasn't fit to lead. He lost more elections than most people ever run in. He was ridiculed, dismissed, doubted, but his attitude was unshakable. He said, "I will prepare, and my time will come." And it did. Oprah Winfrey was told she was too emotional for TV, too raw, too vulnerable, but that very emotion, that very presence became her superpower. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times, but he didn't call it failure. He called it learning. That's an attitude. That's a philosophy of power. I will not be denied. I will not give up. I will not hand my destiny to anything outside of me. So what about you? What if you lived like your life mattered? What if you treated every day like a gift, every breath like an opportunity to sharpen yourself, to grow, to evolve, to become the rarest version of you? What if you stopped waiting for permission and started granting it to yourself? Because that's what a winning attitude is. It's not loud. It's not boastful. I may not be there yet, but I am on the path. I may stumble, but I will never stop. I may face failure, but I will never accept defeat. Your attitude is your invisible suit of armor. It protects you from the arrows of doubt. It shields you from the poison of negativity, and it turns every no into fuel for your yes. But only if you feed it, only if you discipline it, only if you choose it again and again and again. Because the truth is, you are always becoming. Every decision, every habit, every moment is shaping your destiny. So start living like it. Start walking with your shoulders back, your eyes forward, your spirit on fire. Start treating challenges like training grounds. Start showing up with the kind of attitude that says, I am not here to survive. I am here to rise. When your attitude becomes your weapon, it's a stance. Watch me. Watch me take these scars and turn them into strength. Watch me take this doubt and turn it into destiny. Because no matter where I've been, no matter what I've faced, no matter how many times I've been knocked down, I have decided who I am, and that decision is final. Attitude is everything.